Chapter 22. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here tonight at your request to answer before the court that tries a man and gives a just decision, where each man is a juror and decides for himself, where each lady sits as a jurist whose conclusions are filed away for herself, family, and her friends. A woman can live an active life for 45 or 50 years, then she is looked upon as a mature woman, from whom her neighbors seek counsel. She will go to church, to state houses, political and national holiday gatherings for the purpose of picking up a few crumbs of knowledge to bring back and impart to her children, grandchildren, her husband, neighbors, and friends. Allow me in the introduction of the subject of osteopathy to tell you I am proud all over. I don't know why nature or nature's God opened one of my eyes to see a small corner of his work. Over 20 years I have stood in the courts of God as an attorney. I have questioned and cross-questioned and directed my questions positively on all parts of the subject that I desired to investigate. The questions that I asked myself were about the following. Have I a mind capable of comprehending or solving by my force of philosophy the great question, what is man? You remember that I spoke then as a man whose mouth would not be closed through fear. That question, what is man, covers all the questions embraced in the universe. All questions, none left. Who is God? What is life? What is death? What is sound? What is love? What is hatred? Any individual one of these wonders can be found in that great combination, man. Is anything left? Nothing. Do you find any principle in heaven, on earth, or in mind, in matter, or motion that is not represented by kind and quantity in man's makeup? You find the representation of the planets of heaven in man. You find the action of those heavenly bodies represented in yours. You find in miniature mind controlling the power of motion. You find in reason that it is the result of a conclusion backed by the ability, known as the power of knowledge. And when the machine was constructed, it was given the power of locomotion, self-preservation, all the passions of all the beasts in the field, and all the aspirations of God himself in kind. All these qualities you find in man. The same qualities you find in a more refined condition in woman. She being the sensitive part of the whole makeup of the human race. She is a finer principle than man. She is sensory, man motor. He is motor, she is intellectual. Let me suggest that in the human makeup we find the motor nerves driving the blood from the heart by the arteries throughout the body to all extremities and returning it through the veins. Therefore, when you find in the makeup of man the motor or the father principle, you will also find the other or mother part, in return of the blood to the heart, where it is sent out again for the battle of life. I am talking to you as though you were osteopaths of many years' experience, and who, having placed your hand on the side of Christ and found the scar, having no doubts. I am placed in a rather embarrassing position, and hesitate whether to throw a bombshell at you or to simply fire a smaller ball, or like the Baptist preacher, fire a shotgun and hit more places. But you needn't look for a howitzer from me tonight. When I looked up the subject and tried to acquaint myself with the works of God, or the unknowable as some call him, Jehovah, as another class say, or as the Shawnee Indian call him, the great Inoya Tapamalaku, which signifies the life and mind of the living God. I wanted some part of that mind could comprehend. I began to study what part I should take up first to investigate the truths of nature and place them down as scientific facts. Where will I begin? That is the question. What will I take? How is the best way? I found that one of my hands was enough for me all the days of my life. Take the hand of a man, the heart, the lung, or the whole combination, and it runs to the unknowable. I wanted to be one of the knowables. The first discovery I made was this. Every single individual stroke of God came to me as the unknowable. The stroke of death, what do you know about this? I know nothing, therefore it is unknowable. I began to study and experiment. By accident I got started. I removed growths from the human neck called goiter. The goiter disappeared in a few hours. The philosophy to me was doubtful or unknowable. A great deal of it is yet. I tried flux. It stopped. I thought I commanded it to stop. I made a certain move and it stopped itself, and that law is absolutely unknowable to me. I found headache. What is headache? That was also to me unknowable. I found fevers. I found the reverse of that. I did not know what it was. I will give you an example. You take hold of this incandescent light, as it now stands at about 80 degrees, and as I turn the battery on you, you have about 160 degrees. You turn it off, and it is dead. We have the motor principle, or the positive, coming forward and bringing the elements necessary to life. We will destroy the positive, and let the mother principle take charge of it. What does she do? She clears up the rubbish in the house every morning when the man goes out. She takes the dirt out in less time than her husband brings it in, so the temperature is brought back to its original 80, a change of 80 degrees. How the result is obtained leaves me again in the unknowable. What is electricity? I don't know anything about it. I can only show you what it will do. In the human makeup, you have one of the most absolute and thoroughly constructed systems, wired from the very ground you stand on to the top of your head. Every department has its wires and telegraph poles, and its millions of them all over your body, and every one being just where they should be. One for the heart, one for the eye, one for the quilts that covers the eye. Old Mother Nature says, spread a quilt there, and down goes your eyelid. There's your quilt. You see in there the mother standing. You see the philosophy of the mother and father and mother, principle of the veins and arteries, by their actions and results. When we take up principles, we get down to nature. It is ever willing and self-caring, self-feeding and self-protecting. One would say, what does all this signify? Why are you making such a fuss? Why are you talking about those divine laws? Are you going to baptize us? Are you going to pass the hat around? We made a mistake and kept it up for 1,000 years according to history. We have tried to meet and ward off effects which we call disease by the effect of something we do not comprehend. When we are sick we take poisons, and plenty of them, the kind and quality that are deadly in their tendency, and not only that, but they are durable. It is said that a dose of sulfur taken today is found by analysis in the body 60 days afterwards. How long do their effects last? They may stay 60 or 70 years. When I was a boy, I had some poison put in my arm, which they called virus. How long has that been in my body? It has been there through several sieges of smallpox. Therefore, the effect is endless. When I was about 14 years old, I was salivated. I took several doses of calomel. It loosened my teeth. Today, I am using a part of a set of store teeth because I lived in a day and generation when people had no more intelligence than to make cinnabar of my jawbone. Most of you are strangers, and a great many would like for me to get down to the minutiae. What is your osteopathy good for? It has proven itself to stop croup. In measles and in flux it never fails. When a patient is dead, we don't treat him. Take it in any reasonable time in case of flux, and it has proven itself absolutely certain. It has not lost a case of diphtheria when it commenced within a few hours of its beginning. It has never lost a case of whooping cough. Neither has it wrestled with it over 3 days. Is that of any account to you people who sit up 8 or 10 weeks watching your children whoop and cough? It has absolute control over the nervous system, of the lungs, and if there is no pocket or cavity made of them, I believe the laws